Oh, these tanks, you know, they're on the battlefield. I think everything's fine, everything's good. They look up and they see an A-10 roll in.
Pull up, pull up. Altitude, altitude.
Alright, hello and welcome to my video on a real fucking A-10 throttle. Man, just when I think I couldn't top the SSC replica from Invictus. Yeah, so this is real. This isn't going to be your average review video here, because unlike reviewing a product like I normally do from Winwing or something like that, I mean, it's obviously a real A-10 throttle, and it's dubious at best if you can get your hands on one. So what this video is me talking about what it's like to have a real A-10 throttle. And if that's not something you want to hear about, then you should probably skip this video, because good luck getting your hands on one. But you know, there are some things you can take away from it, like how the higher angled throttles actually help you, what the real switches are like, and how they're clicky and whatnot. So maybe if you're trying to build an A-10 throttle or mod your A-10 throttle or something, or maybe, you know, who knows, you do have your own A-10 throttle and you want to do what me and my friend Jackson did here. I'll get to that in a minute. And maybe this is the video for you. So yeah, either close the video or keep watching. I don't give a fuck. But first, you know, the bourbon. Today I am drinking Knob Creek Single Barrel Select. Something, where's the year? The year's on here somewhere. The year's on here somewhere. I don't know, it's 120 proof, so it's like straight from the barrel. So that's, you know, pretty fucking strong. It's okay. You want to let the ice melt a little bit because it's really hot because it's straight from the barrel. The proof's so high. Flavor's okay. I bought this bottle at retail, actually. I bought 2 of them at this restaurant called Batch. And Batch will sell you Blanton's, Eagle Rare, Stag, a couple other different rare bottles, as long as you buy up to 2 other bottles or 3 other bottles or 4 other bottles of regular bourbon. And they sell them all at MSRP. So I got 2 of these at MSRP, and I got a bottle of Eagle Rare for 35 bucks, which is, you know, pretty good in today's market. So that's why I bought that. But yeah, it's all right. It's an okay bourbon. You know, nothing to write home about, but it's not terrible either. I'm not sorry I bought it. And if they got me a bottle of Eagle at 35, then you know, I'm okay with that. So some of you probably less educated individuals. I mean, educated in like you're stupid, but educated as in like you don't know any better. People are going to say, well, why should I get a real A-10 throttle? Why do I care when Thrustmaster has made an A-10 replica throttle? Well, for a number of reasons. The first reason being the Thrustmaster A-10 throttle sucks a lot, for a lot of reasons. The first reason being that it has fucking cancer. I mean, what I mean by that is all of the A-10 throttles Thrustmaster ever made are actually, they have some kind of problem with their, the guts in them, and they, over time, degrade and start to drift, and there's nothing you can do about that. So all A-10 throttles, Thrustmaster ones, are slated to die. They're just going to die one day for no reason. Nothing you can do about it. So, sucks to suck. So if you don't want to do a Thrustmaster throttle, what's the next best throttle? I would say one of these, the Winwing F15EX or the F15E. They're pretty good alternative. The slew's terrible. I fucking hate the slew on these things. They're god-awful, terrible, terrible, terrible slews. But, you know, whatever. It's fine for the price, especially. You know, you get one for like $300. It's not too bad. But if you're a fucking insane OCD guy like myself and you're obsessed with A-10s like me, having a real A-10 throttle is as good as it gets. And I have my hands on one. There's probably only like fucking a handful of people who have them, and I'm one of them now. So, the $1 million question. Where did you get that?
Ooh. Say ooh.
better question. Why are you breathing my air? Don't worry about it. It fell off the back of a truck, and a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy got it, and maybe... Honestly, I can't even tell you. I don't know where it came from. I am, as far as I know, the third owner. Jackson fixed this up for me and sold it to me, and he got it from a guy who I won't name. I'm not sure if he's okay being named or not. And then where did he get it from? Fuck if I know, man. I don't even know where it came from. But it started life as an A-10A throttle, and you can tell this is an A-10c, and Jackson fixed it all up for me, and I guess I'll go into what he did next. So hopefully I can clip some pictures into it now. But when this thing started out, it's weird because the throttles in the A-10A are like, when you move them, there's no potentiometer. It like moves through a bunch of different buttons, and based on what combination of buttons it's pushing tells the engine how much gas to get, which is weird and doesn't really work for a computer. So Jackson came in here and he wired up the guts of this thing to, you can see when I move it, to move that little arm right there, and he wired that up to a 10K potentiometer, which I changed, and I'll get into that in a second. But other than that, he wired all the switches up for me into a Pokey 57U, and then he also took the A model throttle, because if you don't know, I'll go into the history real quick. So I'm like, oh yeah, A model throttle, C model throttle, what's the difference? Well, if you're obsessed with the Warthog like I am, you already know, but the real quick and dirty is the throttle between the A and the C is identical in this part. All of it is identical except for the right grip. The left grip is the same for the A and the C. The right grip is actually taken off of a mud hen. Yeah, mud hen. And so you've got the A and the C both have a slew, but the C has a four-way instead of a button. It's a radio switch. The speed brake's the same, and then it adds a boat switch, and the China hat's the same for the C model. So Jackson 3D printed the C, and he, let's see, I gave him money to purchase the coolie hat. He had a radio switch, I think, already. The speed brake is original. The China hat's original, and the only fake part in it is the boat switch is actually out of a TM Warthog. And then the slew, sadly, was dead. The slew in the original A model was dead. And handily, Jackson had a brand new in-box F-15 slew, which I don't know if the A-10c and the Eagle share a common slew. I don't even know what Eagle that slew's out of. Maybe one of you in the comments is more educated than I am, but he fucked that Eagle slew into it, and honestly, it works great. It works really good. So that's where all the parts for it came from. So when I got it, I'm a huge fan of Hall effect sensors. I think they are the future. If I can get my camera in there. But Hall effect sensors are basically just like potentiometers, but they use magnets instead of electrical resistance. And I like that better. They're contactless, so they never wear out. They're more durable, they're more reliable, and they're more precise. So I much prefer to have Hall effect sensors. So I rigged that up myself. I took the potentiometers out and put the Hall effect sensors in. And the other issue was there's no idle detent. So yeah, let me turn the thing around. Okay, you can see it better here. I rigged up a limit switch there, and I 3D printed this little thing. So when you get over the detent there, when you get over the detent and come into idle, it hits that limit switch. So that's how it knows to go into the idle cutoff position. Then when you come out of it, the detent into the regular position, now it's letting go of that switch, and it knows the throttle's out of the idle detent position. So that's how I did it. And literally right as I recorded this video, I was messing with the Pokey software and discovered that Pokey has a software setting that allows you to define a switch by a position of the throttle. So that was completely unnecessary. God damn it! So if you're doing this yourself, or maybe you're doing some work on, your own kind of throttle, then yeah, you don't have to install limit switches like I did, like a fucking idiot. You can save yourself a lot of headache. Just go into the software and just define the throttle range yourself. It's way easier. And the enclosure is super ghetto right now because this is just a test piece. That's why it's lopsided. This, I like the way this is, so I'm going to print probably that in 100% infill, and I'm going to make a thicker rear board for this. I'm going to make a bottom piece, and then I'm going to make a full enclosure for it to put it into my, put it into my simulator. So I'll also have mentioned the friction is really good, man, like super, super good. I love the friction setting. The only gripe I have with it is throttles don't match at idle, which is weird because they match when they're at full power. They don't match at idle. And I don't know how to fix that. So it's something I'm just going to have to live with, which is kind of unfortunate. But if that's all I have to complain about, honestly, it's not that bad. So as for the switches, all of it's really great. That's a regular switch. This one is momentary, and then you got to lift up to come to the aft one, and it goes back to the middle by itself. And these are also binary switches. I'm telling you that because if you're somehow building this yourself and you want to know which switches throw which, now you know. Okay, so as you can see, right throttle, left throttle. But now the coolest thing about this by far is the slew. God, the slew is so fucking amazing. So the slew is force sensing, so you can't really see me move it, but like when I tell you the tiniest little minute corrections can be made with this, like it's unbelievable. That's me barely touching it with the tip of my finger. It's force sensitive. That's the China hat. It's force sensing, so it's like you don't really move the slew. Like if it wasn't plugged in, you'd hardly be able to tell you're putting any pressure on it. But God, it's like, if you remember like the little mouse nipples from the 90s that were like in the middle of the keyboard, and then that's how you'd move a mouse around, on a laptop. I mean, it's kind of like that, but like on crack, because it's so insanely sensitive and good. So beyond that, all the other controls work, the buttons and so on and so forth. They're all delightfully clicky and everything. The flaps, especially, it's pretty cool because it's got mid. You got to lift up to come to down, which is hard to do with one hand. Well, it's hard to do with this angle, is what I should say. But yeah, honestly, 10 out of 10. So if you can get your hands on one of these and you're a fucking mad lad like I am, by all means, please do it. It is the coolest thing ever. Easily the coolest piece of sim hardware I own. Easily. Also, so my friend Jackson, I told you about, who did all this for me, I'm going to put his email right here. If you have some real military hardware that you need worked on or converted to work or anything like that, then please give this guy an email. I got his permission to put his email there. He will be happy to do the work. He enjoyed it very much. I wired up those limit switches myself, so I know what I'm doing here. Obviously, I could have done this myself, but I really didn't want to fucking do it. And Jackson was happy to do it. So, yeah, give the man a shout. He's a good dude, absolutely trustworthy and reliable. And Jackson, I know you're watching this. Thank you so much. This is the coolest fucking thing I've ever owned in my life. And I like it so much, I'm going to be doing business with him again, because now I have a real F-16 throttle, which it's actually got the military connector there, and so he's going to wire that up for me as well. So I got a 2-position switch for the radio. I want a 4-position switch, so we bought a real 4-position switch, and we're going to have him wire that up for me. I'm getting the throttle arm from a man by the name of Ben Dickinson. He also makes simulator parts for the F-16 sim that I am still working on. So that's what I got going on. Hopefully I'll have some, when I'm done making the enclosure for this, I'll have some more videos to make that I'm actually flying a jet instead of talking about hardware. I'm so sick of talking about hardware, but this is really goddamn cool. So anyway, thanks for watching, listen to me. Thanks for, this is a really strong bourbon. Thanks for watching. I don't give a fuck if you like or subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Oh, and if you have any questions, please, if you want measurements, or you have questions about the switches or how it feels or what the throw is or anything like that, please hit me up. I'm more than happy to share the information. CIA, please don't come, or I guess it would be the FBI since I'm domestic and not foreign. FBI, please don't come to my house and throw a black bag over my head. Okay, bye.